Miss Jones, where I think Ms. Barstow has tried with Miss Racanelli to get her exhibits up. I don't know if they're up or not up, but I think we're just going to have to move forward wherever we are.
With, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I talk?
Yeah, you can talk.
With the evidence that we have, with the witness that we have, they are supported by evidence, but I think they're strong. We can pass it today, and I will continue to try to get evidence in, and I can talk.
Well, so right now we'll go back on the
afterwards
record.
How to complete it.
All right, we'll go back on the record. At some point, I think I have to relieve Miss Racanelli a little bit because I think she's worked very hard to try to get it going with you, and for whatever reason, it's not working. And so if you can get it to work, I've never had a problem with a self-represented litigant before. The instructions, you've usually worked very well with them. So hopefully you can, but if not, we may have to go with what we have. So, all right. Still you're up, Ms. Barstow, Mr. Raza. It's still your case in chief.
Yes.
And so who would you like to call as a witness?
Let's call Scott Crouch.
I have somebody called Dee's witness, and I have somebody called Jan's phone. So that's who we have in the waiting room.
Your Honor,
No, that person. She's not a witness. I will call Scott Crouch right now. That's
Scott Crouch. I don't know that Scott Crouch is here.
Oh no,
Your Honor, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Your Honor?
I can.
Okay. So the D's witness is an extra laptop I set up. We've adjusted the sound settings, and I don't know if it's better or not, but I did go ahead and set up a new computer just in case the problems were not fixed.
Well, your sound works just fine. I mean, I just think it's not going to be a setup that works whenever you're questioning one of those two gentlemen that are with you. You're going to have a different setup for that. But right now, it's fine. And then, but I have a Jan's phone and I have a D's witness, and I don't have anybody named Scott Crouch, I don't think. So if you want a Scott Crouch to be here, you're going to need to send him the link, and he needs to come in that way.
He's on standby. Just a minute.
Your Honor, we object to this witness because they weren't identified on the witness list that was filed back on February 18.
Okay,
Oh, that was my second. He was the Clover rep.
I don't know. Who rep?
A Clover, a processing company. Card processing. And he was on the amended witness list that I submitted, and it was I received service notice on it.
Your Honor, to the extent this witness is related to some company called Clover or some card processing machine, we also further object on relevancy grounds. This witness, as far as I know, is not going to have any knowledge about what took place on the day the trailer was removed or the mail. That's subject to the claim.
Sustain the objection to this witness. I don't know who this witness is. He's not here. He wasn't identified early. I don't know what Clover is. It feels like a relevancy problem as well. So who's your next witness, Ms. Barstow?
Well, you want to call him Ian? All right. Ian Loza.
Okay, Mr. Loza.
Rain. We call him Rain.
Your Honor, we object to this witness also as not being on the exhibit list and on relevancy grounds.
Who is he, Ms. Barstow?
He set up the whole network for the park. He interacted with two daredevils. They know very well who he is. They relied on him.
Do you know who this person is, Ms. Pena?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Okay, they're also not here. They're also not here. And so right now, I'm not going to allow this witness either. The objection to this witness is sustained. Who's next, Ms. Barstow?
He's out of state. So he's on, I sent him a Zoom link and wait.
Well, he's not here. So who's your next witness?
Well, the other would be Sterling Lozadi.
And that's some relative?
Yes.
And I don't know that you have an objection to a relative, Ms. Pena.
Your Honor, I do have an objection to the extent he wasn't included on the February 18th witness list, and also because he lives out of state and has no personal knowledge related to any of the claims that are the subject of this lawsuit.
Well, we'll just have to see on that. I'm going to overrule that one. If we can get Sterling here, I'll allow Sterling to testify. But the minute it kind of goes into territory that's not about the claims at issue in this lawsuit, which is the Texas Theft Liability Act, as well as conversion, Ms. Pena is going to object because it's going to be outside of relevancy. But I'm waiting. I mean, you've got to at some point get one of these people here in the waiting room. We've told you how to do it. You send them the Zoom link.
They all have the Zoom link, and I put a message said, "I'll call." Then you click on the link. All three of them are waiting on standby for that. I didn't.
Okay,
think,
well
I
then
didn't,
call Sterling, text Sterling, and tell them we're waiting. If they show up in the next 5 minutes,
Yeah.
I will allow you to call them.
link. Okay.
Your Honor, I have a request. Turn off your voice. Turn off your voice. I'm sorry for that. Your Honor, I have a request. If we are unable to upload our documents right now, that box thing, are we able to submit physically in a court tomorrow?
Does everybody want to appear in physical court tomorrow? Because I know that's what Ms. Pena would prefer. If everybody wants to be physically in court, we can be physically in court.
I'm fine with that.
Well, Ms. Barstow doesn't want to be physically here. So
She have some problems with the court buildings and the psychological things. But if we submit our exhibits over there in the morning, I can come and submit. Is it
I
possible?
don't, again, even if you're in person, you're supposed to use Box. And so that is the rules. It's really not that hard. I have to be very clear on this. It works incredibly well.
I understand, Your Honor. I understand. And I'm not arguing on that. But we'll try our best till tonight if we can able to do that. If not, then I have a request.
Well, there may be a way. I mean, again, remember, Ms. Pena wants you to only offer the exhibits that were on your exhibit list. And she doesn't have a problem with those exhibits, I don't think.
No,
but,
I know. I understand
so if you could just get those done, that would be great. Even if you get these other ones done, I don't know what they are. I don't know that Ms. Pena knows what they are. There might be objections about them on top of that. So I just want to be very clear. Even if you get them up, right? Like, I don't know what they are. So that's part of where we are in this case.
It's all right. If she have an objection, it's all right. But if it is to the very relevant to our being an a plaintiff things.
Right. So let me say this. The one thing Ms. Racanelli did say to me is if you cannot make it work and they're contained in their size, like we can't do other things this way, but if they're like 2 or 3 pages, you could send them to her and say, I want this to be plaintiff's 1. I want this to be plaintiff's 2. And perhaps she could upload them for you. I think it becomes difficult because you might be trying to upload audio files and really long documents, and Box is really the only way to do that. Mm-hmm. So I want to be clear, but if it's like a PDF and you can do it in a way that she can understand, and then we could upload them and then Ms. Pena could see them, I think that might be possible. But I only can do that for about 5 exhibits because Ms. Racanelli has other things she has to get done too. And so if there's 5 things that you really want the court to see and need the court to see, maybe think about doing it for 5 things and she can try to help you with it. And as that workaround.
That's fine.
All right. So that's what we'll work on. And now Mr. Lazali is here and we'll admit him.
I do solemnly swear.
All right. Ms. Barstow, and you can lower your hand. Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza are representing themselves. They're self-represented litigants. And then Ms. Pena represents 2 Daredevils and Stephen Shearer. And then John Barstow also represents himself. And so they may have questions for you, but we will begin with Ms. Barstow. Thank you.
All right. Right off the bat, could you just introduce who you are and who you're in relation to the family?
Yes, indeed. I'm Sterling Losley. I am your son, Grandpa. Bob Barstow is my grandpa. Uncle Jay and Uncle Richard have helped run things for a while, and I also helped contribute to the park back in 2022, I believe it was.
Mhm. Have we recently, where do you live now?
Currently living near Washington, D.C.
Have you ever lived at the park?
I have, yes.
And what building did you live in?
The off building that Gigi used to live in, the side one.
Oh, yeah, the side one, that's the office. When did you leave? When did you move away?
I moved out in mid-June of 2022, 2023?
Of 2020 what? Oh,
Is it 2022 or
Where- and
2023?
where
I think it was 2023.
okay. And where did you move?
I moved to Cedar Park.
Okay, and
And
where
I
are
was
you
in
now?
Cedar Park for 6 months, and then I moved to Washington, D.C.
All right. And have you had occasion to recently interact with people at the park again?
Off and on, mostly through email. Yeah.
What brought you back in?
They were looking for access to QuickBooks and also just the typical family drama emails going back and forth.
Okay. Has who sent you those emails? What did they request of you?
The QuickBooks ones?
Well, I may not have received all the emails that you have. I have a hard time
Yeah.
addressing all. I
No,
was
of course.
One.
Of course. Yeah, I don't think that you were CC'd on these ones. Maybe you were, I'm not sure. But in terms of the QuickBooks ones, it was mostly Richard who was sending them to me.
All right. And what was he asking?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Oh,
What's
Well,
hearsay about
Yes,
this?
that is hearsay. So I will sustain it, which means you don't answer that question. Thank you.
that's all right. I believe I was emailed or CC'd on that one.
Yes.
Could you please tell me the contents of that one? It was fairly lengthy.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. It's the same email by Richard.
Sustained.
Oh, this is Sterling. Could you please tell
May I
me
ask a question?
the content of your email? Oh, yes.
Is it still hearsay if she's CC'd on the email?
It is.
Okay.
But but now she's asking what you said, I think, or what you said in the email. And
Okay.
I
Yes.
haven't heard an objection yet from Ms. Pena.
Can I
So
give
you
the
can
context
answer.
of what I was asked to what I was answering to?
You can just answer what you answered.
Sure. It's a little bit lengthy. Do you mind if I just read the email? Is that okay? Okay.
I mean, there was a question asked, and there's been no objection, so you
Okay.
can answer the question that was asked.
All right.
Your Honor, I do object, though, to the extent Mr. Losley is referring to anything else that is not an exhibit properly marked before this court. I don't think it's proper for him to be relying on documents if they're not exhibits.
So I think what she's saying is you can, rather than read it, you just need to sum up what was said. There you go.
Okay. All right. All right, so basically Richard was asking me for access to the QuickBooks, at which point I responded to him again for, I had already responded to him several times. Well, he'd been asking for access to QuickBooks several times, and I had responded to him several times, giving him specific instructions and everything. And then I went in and logged into QuickBooks so I could get the exact files and I could send them over to him. But he was having difficulty accessing it. He was saying that he hadn't been given access or something like that.
Objection, Your Honor. We're getting into what Richard said. I was trying to give a little leeway here, and I also have an objection as to relevance. QuickBooks doesn't have anything to do with the trailer, the mail. It's completely irrelevant.
Yes, I think it's not. I'll sustain all of that. Ask another question, Ms. Barstow.
All right. So have you ever received email here at the park?
Have I received mail at the park? Yes, I have received mail at the park. Yes.
Here at the park?
I'm sorry, that's very key. Is it email or mail?
Mail. Have you received mail at the park?
Yes,
All right. Did you receive business mail at the park?
I did. Yes.
What is the name of your company?
Moraine Associates Research and Strategy.
And where was where was it based? I mean, what was the home base for your company?
14421 Ridgetop Terrace.
And is that the address for the park?
That is indeed the address of the
where
park.
you live?
That is correct.
All right. At some point, did you were you not able to receive your mail?
That is correct.
Okay. How did you address your inability to receive your business mail addressed to the park?
Well, considering that this is primarily in the past 12 months since I've been living in Washington, D.C., it was not very easy or conducive to be able to actually come down to the park and spend like $1,000 just to figure out the mail situation. So I have been having my mail forwarded, and also I asked you, who were still living at the park at the time, to help aggregate my mail and just set it aside so I could grab it later. When you told me that my mail was when I was like expecting mail and you hadn't gotten it in a while, I was very confused and wondering where my mail was. So, and I don't know if I ever really found out why it was not in that mailbox or in your possession.
So that was something that you expected to receive when it was delivered here?
Yes, of course. I mean, like, expect to receive in terms of having you get it from the mailbox. Yeah.
Okay. And while I guess the wiring in the office trailer isn't important and isn't germane. Were there any what did you used to do for the park? What was your position?
So when I was working for the park, I had conversations with you, Uncle Jay, and Grandpa prior to starting and running everything by y'all. What I was going to do is I was going to help with some project management. I was going to look into the migrating or moving the POS from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, which I did. I was working with Heartland to set up their HR system. I was working with Rain Loza to set up the IT infrastructure and get all that going. And I also helped respond to multiple insurance audits and aggregating all of the revenue across the different products and services to then present that to the insurance audit representative. And I think I did that twice, I believe it was. And in general, it was a little bit of doing a bit of everything. I was also setting up a CRM for the company. I was going to help with marketing initiatives, and in general, just helping out set up the park kind of across the board in the same way you would set up a startup. One person wearing many different hats. So that's the kind of broad answer, but that's the best answer I can give.
Okay. So you wore many hats and were very engaged here at the park.
That is correct. At that time, yes.
Do you think that's why people turned to you for when passwords and other things were not forthcoming or were missing?
Yes, absolutely. Basically, people would always come to me with questions regarding how to use QuickBooks Online. anything related to tracking things down or setting things up into QuickBooks Online, anything related to the infrastructure, the technology infrastructure. So for emails, passwords, stuff like that outside of QuickBooks, yes. And also for password management as well.
Okay.
But I didn't test that one too much.
All right. And so at some point, I saw, well, I CC'd you in response to some emails that I hope to introduce into evidence tomorrow, but maybe not. I will try. In which there were concerns that I was not delivering passwords or providing information as requested. Okay.
And
Is that what?
if I might for a second, the answer to that is in my previous answer. That was for some reason considered hearsay because I have the exact answer for that because I'm the one that did it.
Okay. And were those passwords, what did you find when you went into the system to locate who had what rights and what when their logins were? Does that clear enough?
Your Honor,
a little bit there for the last second.
Your Honor, I object on the basis of relevance. Again, passwords, QuickBooks, none of that has to do with the claims that have been pleaded.
At this point, I'm going to ask a question, Ms. Pena, to you. Are your clients suing Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza for anything? No one else say anything. Ms. Pena, are your clients suing Ms. Barstow for anything?
My clients are suing Ms. Barstow for trespass and are seeking rent for damages.
Then I think because of that, it's relevant. So overruled. Go ahead. Ms. Barstow, you can ask these questions.
Okay. I had been, and Sterling was CC'd on these. I saw that. I had been accused of being, this is part of the smear. It was just.
Nope. Me overruling her objection means that you can ask questions to Mr. Losley. It does not mean that you can then start testifying and telling your side of the story again. It just meant that when she said this wasn't relevant, and then I asked if they were countersuing you, and she said yes, I overruled her relevancy objection because I think it's relevant to that. So now you can get back to asking questions. Go ahead.
All right. Do you remember the email? Do you remember the act? Sterling, do you remember receiving accusations by mail that that the new tenants were not able to access their software and what they needed?
By email, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when you responded to them, is that why you were so thorough about timing and chronology when these events happened?
Precisely.
Okay. Did it appear that I had been withholding any information according in your chronology, your timing?
I only have information regarding the financial aspects. I do not have information regarding the social media aspects. I was not involved in that. To my knowledge, you were not. But again, that was not my specific area of expertise. My expertise was oriented in the finance area. Of course, I do indeed recall that you were accused of withholding those passwords numerous times. In my knowledge, because I happened to be the super admin, so more than Richard or anybody else, I am the one with the utmost knowledge on this particular aspect. I can indeed verify that you did grant admin privileges to Grandpa on August 11th, 2023. That Cheryl had been listed as the CPA on QuickBooks since October 13th of 2021. I did indeed receive, and I also have all of the access logs for QuickBooks from every individual. And I can indeed say that you were accused of withholding those accounts well after the fact that they had been granted access and had indeed accessed the accounts.
Thank you.
Whether they remembered or not, the logs don't lie.
Okay, I pass the witness.
Anything, Miss Pena or Mr. Barstow?
Your Honor, I've got just like 5 questions.
Go ahead.
Mr. Losley, you're not an owner of Windy Point Park, Inc., or the park that actually operates, correct?
That is correct.
And you're not an owner of Barstow Limited Partnership or claim any ownership interest in the land, correct?
That is correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
And then just to make sure, Mr. Barstow, this whole time, if you've been wanting to ask a question, which you have the right to do, you will interrupt and just make sure you ask a question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, then we don't have anything else for you, Mr. Losley. You are free to go. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Okay, so now, next witness.
Is Scott there? He just texted me.
He was there and now he's not there anymore.
That's what he told me. He said,
Your Honor,
Hold on. We aren't there yet. Let's see if he even gets there.
I told him.
This is the same person that we were talking about earlier. His name is what?
Scott was one of the ones in Rain.
Yeah, but I need his full name. Remember, Scott
Yeah.
something.
Scott Krautz. K-R-A-U-D. Yes. And he was on the amended exhibits list that I sent yesterday, the same day that Ms. Pena sent the amended
Sure, he's not
list.
here. He's not here. And so if he gets back in the next 1 minute, because I don't know where he went, I'm going to allow you to bring him in an offer of proof. And by that, I mean, Ms. Pena, I'm holding to her objection. Her objection is sustained. But allowing you to actually make your record, if I'm wrong and he's somebody who should have been allowed, you will then have him testify. We will have the record of his testimony. But that's what an offer of proof is. So I'm still sustaining Ms. Pena's objection. But if he gets here in 30 seconds, we'll do the testimony. If not, we'll have to move on to somebody else.
I just said they are waiting now. While you're waiting, while they are waiting, I wanted to mention that Rain had a great deal of interactions with 2 daredevils.
You can't do that.
As
You can only, right. Okay. So here's what we're doing. Scott's back. He's here. Again, the objection that Ms. Pena has lodged is sustained. If she wants to once again put it on the record, Ms. Pena, go ahead, state it, and all the different reasons, and then I'm going to allow Ms. Barstow to do an offer of proof, and then we'll close the offer of proof. You can ask questions if you want to in the offer of proof, and then we'll close it and we'll move on to the next thing. Go ahead, Ms. Pena.
Your Honor, we object to this witness because they were not identified on the February 18th witness list that was filed by Ms. Barstow's former attorney before she withdrew. We also object on the basis of relevancy because this witness is some sort of credit card processor and has nothing to do with the issues before this court related to rent, trespass, Theft Liability Act, or conversion.
Thank you. So that objection is sustained. But again, I am affording Ms. Barstow the same courtesy I would afford a lawyer. And since this is being tried to the bench, or even if we're tried to a jury trial, we just do it outside the presence of the jury. You can make your offer of proof, Ms. Barstow. We'll call the witness. You can put it in, but it's still sustained objectionable testimony. And then we'll close the offer of proof, and then we'll move on to the next thing. I'm going to bring him in right now.
Okay.
I still don't really know how to spell his last name, so we'll ask him. Truth and nothing but the truth.
I did.
You've been called as a witness. We are in an offer of proof in the case between Jan Barstow and Fahim Raza versus John Barstow, Stephen Shear, and two daredevils. Stephen Shear and two daredevils are represented by an attorney, Ms. Blair Pena. Mr. John Barstow represents himself, and Jan Barstow and Fahim Raza also represent themselves. So they're going to ask you questions, and then we'll see if anybody else has questions, and then we'll go from there. It shouldn't take too long. You may proceed, Ms. Barstow.
All right.
You don't need to keep objecting, Ms. Pena, because the objections are sustained. We're in an offer of proof. Unless you hear something else that's different from the objections that you've already made, you have a running objection during the offer of proof.
Thank you, Your Honor.
On an offer of proof, I merely ask questions, or do I state?
Nope, you do exactly what you've been doing.
Okay. So, Scott, what relationship did you have with Windy Point Park?
Provided their credit card processing and the point of sale terminal, Clover.
Okay. Do you remember what devices Windy Point Park you provided for Windy Point Park?
Yeah, the Clover Flex, I believe.
Okay. And do you know what the needs of the park were when you provided those devices?
Yeah, they needed to be able to take payment for the services that were there at the park, like park entry and rentals and things like that.
Okay. Did those devices work both online and offline, or did they require wired Wi-Fi?
No, it's a wireless device, so it works through internet, Wi-Fi internet.
Okay. Was there a feature that worked when the wireless was down as well?
Yeah, there's a SIM card that's in it where you can activate that.
Okay. Was that usable by a phone?
So the Clover Flex is its own device, so it does its own thing. I do believe that we also set up a smaller device called a Clover Go that connects through an app on a phone. Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember using that. And what does that allow you to do in the park?
Take card payments.
Okay. Does it have to be in the fee station or next to the machine, or can it go wherever a phone can go?
It can go wherever a phone can go.
All right. Did we have some concerns about taxes and staying legal with all the different filings?
Yeah, you reached out to me last contact I've had with you or the park at all, honestly, was back in September, I think, 2023. And just wondering about getting with your accountant at the time to see, if the appropriate sales taxes are able to be added. And so I just advised, how the machine works and what you can do. And that is the last contact that I had with you guys.
So we were able to adequately assess different taxes, different fees in different ways with that one device?
Yeah, you should have been able to do everything you needed.
I remember we were set up that way. That was one of the concerns that people had. When did the processing, when did you notice there was a change in the processing?
Like I said, that was the last time that I had contact with Windy Point, or you, Jan, and then, I'm not sure exactly the date, but I noticed that you weren't processing anymore. But I hadn't heard anything since really yesterday.
Did anybody call you to or notify you to cease the services?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Were you aware that the billing was still going on?
No, I mean the account was still open. Yes, if that's what you're asking, and it probably still is. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have access to that stuff anymore. But yeah, until you close it, it's still going to be an active account. It just would be not in use.
Were you Were you aware if it was ever closed?
No.
Were you aware of the devices being returned?
No.
All right. Would there be a continued charge for those devices if they were, if somebody kept them in their possession, whether they were used or not?
Yeah, there's a lease on the device, and so you pay it until the lease is up and you return the device, or it goes to a month-to-month deal after that.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Your Honor,
Anything?
I don't have any questions.
All right, thank you. That concludes the offer of proof. You are free to go, sir.
Thank you.
For your time.
Bye.
Thanks. Okay,
Okay.
next witness.
All right. Well, our witness was Rain, and he had a lot of contact with two daredevils, so they know.
You can't, again, we could do the same thing again. If you want to do an offer of proof, we can do the same thing again. But we're not going to let you tell me what the witness is going to say. We'll just do the same thing where we call the witness.
Let me call.
And again, I think Ms. Pena will have the same objection, but if he gets here in a minute, we'll do another offer of proof. And just to clarify on the last one, the court is not changing its mind. That objection remains, but the offer of proof is made.
I said call, I meant link now.
I'm going to go off screen for a few minutes and then I'll come back. If he's here at 2:20, we'll do it. If he's not, we got to move on to the next person, but you need to have the next person. Like, one of the things that could happen is Mr. Raza, for example, is like actually reaching out to these people and getting them in the waiting room. So we're not having this delay time. And so we're able to go more quickly. That would be helpful. I'll be back at 2:20.
Okay.
All right, it's 2:20, so we need to move on. Let's go back on the record. It's 2:21, in fact. So it's 2:21, and we're back on the record, and no one's here. Who's our next witness?
Okay. I just got hold of Rain, and he was linking in right now.
Well, he's still not here, so.
Fahim? Okay.
We don't have any other. We don't have.
Okay, tell Rain, my phone won't call him. You have to say,
I will be calling.
he has the link. He has a link. Oh, he's getting on his computer. Never mind. He's doing it on the.
Who would you go next? Where would you go next? Who would you call next?
How about you? I don't have a different witness available at the moment. I could, but it's, I guess, relevancy could
Okay.
be questioned.
Then let's move on to Ms. Pena's witnesses. If that's all right, Ms. Pena, who would you call next or first?
Your Honor, for clarification purposes, does that mean that the plaintiffs have rested?
No, they have not rested. And so if you don't want to call a witness yet, we can wait until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I have to do something else at 9 a.m. But we could wait until 10 a.m. and then they can finish up then, and then you can go after that. But I've already told them I would give them this evening to try to figure out whatever they're going to do with their exhibits. And so I don't think I could hold them to resting completely right now.
Okay.
But if you don't want to call a witness right now and you want to wait, you can wait.
Your Honor, if it were up to me, I think we'd be done today. I'll go ahead and call our first witness. We're going to call Bob Barstow by deposition.
Okay. And then what have you done with that deposition? Is it in the box?
We have a video that has been cut, and previously we circulated the deposition designations.
Hold on 1 second. Ms. Roccanelli, you're here, right? Can I just see you on screen? Okay. All right. Then let's go off the record for a minute. All right. Do you have a copy of the deposition, Ms. Roccanelli?
I haven't looked to see, is it uploaded in box. I
Right, that's what
don't-
we're asking. So have you given Ms. Racanelli the deposition, Ms. Pena?
I believe my paralegal emailed it to her yesterday.
Okay, well, let's see if we can find, I don't know, we got to find that because we have a very specific way we deal with depot cuts.
I thought it was depot cut. I didn't think it was the actual deposition. Was it the actual deposition?
Oh, I'm sorry, it was just the designation. So it had the page line reference, but it had behind it the actual testimony that went along with those.
So it is the depot. So that's the thing. I don't know which one it is. We got to figure that out.
What was it? What is her name? So I can try to find it.
Let me say, Ms. Pena, whether you were in person or here, whether you were in person or on Zoom, the way we like to do depositions is we like you to give us everything that is going to be played. And that way, Ms. Racanelli doesn't have to also take transcription. The transcription is already done, right? So you understand what I'm saying? You just highlight the portions that are played and she has it. And then we attach it as court one. And court one would be, is it Richard? I'm sorry. I'm getting confused in the name. Richard Barstow?
Bob Barstow.
Bob Barstow's. Court one would be Bob Barstow. If you do another depot, it'd be court two. But that way she's not taking transcription of a deposition where there's already been transcription taken.
Your Honor,
So how can we make that happen? How can we make that happen quickly?
we emailed it to Ms. Racanelli yesterday at 3 p.m.
Okay, Ms. Racanelli, what do you got?
I see it. So would they just need to mark it as a court exhibit 1 and upload it to box?
So how many of these do we have, Ms. Pena? Is it just the one or is there more than one?
We're only calling Bob Barstow by deposition.
Okay, then let's take a break. This is going to be perfect. Ms. Barstow can figure out if she can find whoever this rain person is. You're going to fix the court exhibit and you're going to re-upload it. And then we'll do that. And if you want to watch me watch this depot, I can do that, or I can just read the depot, however you want to do it. But if you would like to watch me watch it, I will do that.
I would like to go ahead and play the depot.
Okay. Well, but first, before you do that, I want you to do it the right way. Get the court exhibit uploaded into box as a court one. Alicia, do you need to figure out how to get her a court one folder? Where should she put it?
Yeah, I'll create the court exhibit folder and then just upload it to that. And I'll do that now.
Okay, and there's just the one. There's no other depots, right, Ms. Pena?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Then let's do that, and then we'll go from there. And then you can watch me watch the depot. How long is it?
It's about 23 minutes.
Okay, all right. That's fine. But do the first part first, and Ms. Barstow is going to be working on whatever with this gentleman, and we'll either get him or we won't get him.
Yes, Your Honor.
He said his
Thank you.
Zoom app was. He's
That's
trying
not
to
my
get through, but
problem,
Zoom app
Ms.
was updated.
Barstow. He's gonna figure it out or not figure it out. If he's here, we'll call him. If he's not, we won't. And remember, it's gonna be an offer of proof, but I'm gonna take, oh, there he is. There he is. Rain is here. Okay. Well,
All right.
while your team, Ms. Pena, maybe one of your paralegals can be working on that. But let's take a 5-minute break so Ms. Racanelli can get the folder set up. Then we'll call in Rain. Then maybe we'll do the depot. But let's go ahead and do it because we're already kind of thinking about how we're going to do the depot. So give Ms. Racanelli 5 minutes to get that folder up. You get that folder in. We'll come back. We'll call Rain by an offer of proof. And then we'll move on to the next thing, which is going to be playing this deposition. But let's take a 5-minute break. Thank you.
I'll text him. You call him, tell him he's in the waiting room for 5 minutes.
Welcome back. Let's go back on the record. So same rules as last time. I'm inclined to allow this by offer of proof, which isn't allowing it at all. It's basically allowing Ms. Barstow to preserve her record. But there's somebody named Rain in the waiting room. And who is Rain and what's his last name? Oh, you're still muted.
Rain Loza. Rain
Loca.
A, correct. Rain is my son, another son.
All right. And then what's your objection, Ms. Pena?
Your Honor, we assert the same objections, failure to properly identify and also relevancy.
Those are sustained, but again, I'm allowing her to call the witness under an offer of proof. And so I will bring in Mr. Loza at this time.
So solemnly swear.
Thank you. You've been called as a witness. You can lower your hand. You've been called as a witness to testify in this bench trial. My name is Judge Amy Clark Meachum. This is a lawsuit between Jan Barstow and Fahim Raza versus John Barstow, Stephen Shear, and two daredevils. Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza represent themselves. I don't know where Mr. Raza went, but he's around here somewhere. Maybe he'll come back in a minute. I'll allow him back in. And then Mr. John Barstow also represents himself. And then Stephen Shear and two Daredevils LLC are represented by Ms. Blair Pena. All of them or none of them may ask you questions. I'm not for sure, but Ms. Barstow has the floor and you may ask questions, Ms. Barstow, at this time. We are in the offer of proof and you may proceed.
Rain, what did you do for the park?
Could you please clarify that?
All right. Were you working for the park when I first became manager?
No, but you did bring me in shortly after.
All right. And what did you do what were you brought in to do?
To consult on the business. Me, and Sterling were involved in that. I was brought in especially for my technical expertise to extend the wired and wireless network across the property, set up security cameras, manage a lot of the digital systems like email, DNS, website, Microsoft Teams, our communication application. Pretty much that kind of stuff. I did a lot of stuff with the firewall for security.
All right. And what is your business background? What business consulting, what activities did you do for the infrastructure?
What did I do for the infrastructure, or what was my background?
Reading it poorly. I'm supposed to ask questions and I'm stating instead. I apologize. Did you do the infrastructure?
Yes, I completely ripped out all the old cabling and installed new cabling, installed new networking switches, a new firewall. I replaced all of that stuff.
And in Microsoft Teams, what did you provide for the park?
I provided Microsoft Teams. It's an application that everyone can install on their computer, on their phone. It allows live communication between everybody. It allows sharing files. It involved the full Microsoft suite, so it also gave you like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, online so that everyone could work on everything together at the same time. It also has plugins with the whole Microsoft 365 suite, so it also interconnected with like email and other stuff.
Is that where our emails came from?
From Microsoft 365, yes.
That's how we got windypointpark.com, Jan at windypointpark.com or Rain at windypointpark.com.
That's correct.
Okay. And was it's my experience that you almost infrastructure for the park that we had to step up and grow into. Did you provide trainings for us to grow into a more business-like approach to the business?
Yes. I even put together some like PDF training booklets so that people could get instruction when I wasn't there. I provided phone calls and video call training, as well as I was there in person, and I had people pull up their phones and I walked them through the onboarding process. That was for you, as well as other people, such as your employees and colleagues.
We did have to step up. All right, I appreciate that.
Yes.
So, when the park transitioned, were you involved in that at all?
Yes. So that was,
How were you?
I assume, just to be clear, you're talking about when it went from to two daredevils, correct? That's what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. I had already been separated from the park for about a year by that point, but because I was the person with technical expertise, I was brought back in to help facilitate the transfer. Well, I'll let you
Brought
ask
you- No, I'm sorry. Who brought you back in?
you did.
Okay. And then, well, but continue. You have something to say about that.
No, I was just going to say the capacity to which I facilitated the transfer. I opened up my password management application. I have a server that I use that manages all kinds of applications. You log into it, you're given permissions and roles, and then with the level of permission you're given, you can access certain credentials, whatever is allowed for you to access. I, instead of having to go granular one by one, I just sent out email invitations to two daredevils, specifically Derek Alderman, as well as also Kristen. And I just allowed them to log in and get access to every single password that you, Fahim, also had access to. And myself, because I use the same system for my own credentials. So I gave them everything that I had.
All right.
That's for the passwords, as well as for the facilitating of the transfer. I also texted with Derek Alderman quite extensively. I don't know if I'd use the word extensively. It's like over the course of a few months, there was like maybe 20 or 40 text messages back and forth. So I also facilitated actually handing over. There were times when both of us were logged into Cloudflare at the same time, updating DNS records, making sure he had access into the administrative account. Yeah, I mean, I even helped him go through the website to be able to get access to that. So I fully facilitated the transfer. I also got them into Microsoft 365.
Okay. Who has at a user level, an admin level? What levels are you talking about?
I believe I gave them higher level admin than I even gave to you. I felt like you were probably a little too dangerous to be in there. I did everything that you asked for. I just didn't give you the ability to do the stuff yourself. I was worried that you would accidentally fat finger the wrong button. I believe I gave them higher level permission than you. I gave them full global super admin. That's the Microsoft terminology. That's the same permissions that I had, because when I stepped away, I transferred over ownership of it, or not ownership, but ownership of responsibility for it. I believe I gave that to Stephen.
When was that?
Stephen J.
When did you start handing that to them? I'm not talking about all the follow-up phone calls and just difficulty for their adjustment, because I know there's an adjustment period. When did you start handing that over to them?
Well, I can say that because there was a whole timeline, right? There was a process. It started in November of 2023. At least I went through my text messages last night. And I first established contact with Derek Alderman. That was Steven's IT guy, to use his own words. Well, IT/marketing guy. Nice crossover there. I first established contact in November of 2023. We talked a little bit more in December of 2023. And then in January of 2024 through March of 2024, through that whole window, we had some back and forth. It wasn't live because it was more like he was asking me questions, and sometimes there would be a gap between those questions. But that period was between January and March of 2024.
Okay. So is Derek somebody that you would hire to work for you or with you? In terms of expertise, not liking. I don't know the gentleman.
That's a difficult question to answer. Despite us working together, we didn't really work together. It was more communicating information back and forth instead of like working on a project at the same time. I was more someone that he could get information from, and make requests to, rather than someone like sitting at his side doing things together, you know? So it's hard to answer that question. I can say I would fill out seats on a team with him. I don't know what level of expertise I would put him at. I didn't really get a gauge on that. But I mean, it's not a clear yes, I guess is what I'm saying. There would need to be some more evaluation and
Did others, I'm not hearing much sound.
it looks like your connection's a little slow.
Right. Okay, okay. So if others got it, then I won't worry. I didn't know if it went out for everybody.
Thank you.
So on the wiring, how did you wire the office trailer?
Ooh, quite extensively. I mean, I ran new cabling from the service station at the front. I don't know if that's the name you'll ended up settling on. I know we were talking about new names for different places, but the service station, the front desk, I ran cabling from there to the main trailer. Sorry, can you hear me? Your connection's a little slow. I just want to make sure that you can hear me.
I hear you.
Okay. So I ran cabling from the service station to the main trailer. I ran cabling from the main trailer to the side trailer, as well as out to like various trees around that area of the property. Because I put up security cameras in those trees to get advantageous angles, so that we could see people walking around. You know, the whole security setup. I ran cabling for all of that. Um, I also ran the wireless network, the Wi-Fi that we could even get down at the water's edge.
You're smiling. That was a proud moment.
I was surprised by that. That was like twice beyond the manufacturer rating. It was truly an impressive wireless system.
You're good. You're good. Um, I'll never thank you enough for that. So, the way that we had a surveillance system inside that we could use on one screen monitor. In the old days, we had to do it by foot, watching the cars that came in. But the way that what was your intention in designing the camera angles and reach and zoom and turn? What goal do you think you accomplished for the park by the time you left it?
Well, essentially, yeah. So essentially, the objective was quite simple. It's a large property. There was no way we were going to get cameras all over the place. I mean, could we? Yes. Was there any financial sense or business sense in doing it? That not quite. The objective was pretty simple. Just get very broad capability to see like if there is a person there, not can we see who that person is. So that's over a wide area of the property just to like see if there's someone up and about. Because if there is someone, then you need to head out to the front desk so that you can deal with them. Like sign them in or answer questions at 3 in the morning or whatever. That was one of the objectives. The other one was to put an area of coverage right, like as a horizontal bar going across the property, so that anyone who went through that narrow patch, you would have the right camera angles, so that if someone's like walking around a corner, there would be a camera here so that you could see who that person is. So you don't need to see like any details about the whole place, but across that horizontal bar, I don't really have a technical term for it, but it's just a zone of high accuracy, high confidence. The goal there was just to make sure that there were cameras at all the necessary angles to see who that person is and what they're doing, as well as there were a few turret cameras that you could actually drive around on your phone, remotely control, that you could see through and talk through and pivot and zoom, for example, to get a license plate on a vehicle in the parking lot. or especially to see details of what went on in the front desk at this service area.
It was pretty extensive work.
Yeah, I got quite a few
This is
compliments for
not,
it.
this isn't altering the offer of proof. We need to wrap this up a little, but I do have a question for Rain. And my
Sure.
question is, who paid for all of this work? Did Ms. Barstow pay for it personally, or did the company pay for all of this work?
So all payments came from Windy Point Park. She was the manager of Windy Point Park, but it was not a private contract to her as an individual. It was to the Windy Point Park business.
Thank you.
I was
All right,
happy
Ms.
to work with
Barstow.
anyone who was in a managerial capacity there, not just for her.
All right, thanks. Ms. Barstow, any other questions?
Were there concerns about software or delays in people's ability to be able to access software where you might have been called in?
For you or during the transition period?
After transition?
Not that I recall, no. I mean, there were some delays, but not like deliberate and not for a long period, just because, I had a full-time day job. And also I'm just remote on the other side of the country. So, of course there's going to be some kind of scheduling delays. But other than that, no, I don't believe I dragged my feet or intentionally delayed anything. I responded when people engaged me.
Did it appear that anybody else was dragging their feet or trying to slow down or withhold any information?
Well, as I mentioned, it was a multi-month period. There would be weeks between messages from Derek. So, when I wasn't being engaged, I wasn't going out of my way to get involved. I was pretty clear throughout the entire period that I was removed and a third party. So I engaged when I was brought in, but not beyond that.
All right, I pass the witness.
Again, we're still in the offer of proof, but just to close the loop on this, Ms. Pena, do you have any questions you want to ask this witness?
I have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go. You're excused as a witness.
Cool, thank you.
And we'll release you from the Zoom. Thank you. And then, do you have any other witnesses, Ms. Barstow?
I don't have witnesses available today.
Then at this point, there are no other witnesses that you're going to call. You're going to call people on in response. You can actually cross-examine witnesses that Ms. Pena calls. But at this time, other than the evidentiary issues, which I'm allowing you to take the night and see if you can figure out how to upload those exhibits, we're going to go ahead and the plaintiff's case is rested with the exception of those exhibits. And Ms. Pena, after those exhibits are loaded tonight, if you want to make a motion, you can do so in the morning. You're not waiving it. But at this time, you may call your witness or your next witness.
Your Honor, we call Bob Barstow by deposition, and the transcript and the video have both been uploaded to the box. I don't know if you wanted to play the video from your end or if you wanted us to play the video from our end, but we're set up to play the video.
I think play it on your end, share your screen, and you can play the video. Court 1 is admitted. It's been loaded into the box, and so we're admitting Court 1, which is the transcript of the deposition that you're about to play. Thank you.
Mr. Barstow, my name is Blair Pena,
Yes.
and I represent Stephen Schur and
Right.
his company, Two Daredevils LLC. You understand that?
Yes,
But you understand that you are under oath today,
yes.
and that means you're going to tell us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
Without having my fingers crossed?
without
That's
fingers
true.
crossed.
Okay.
Okay, we took a short break because your daughter, Jan, and her husband, Fahim, just arrived.
Right.
At some point, you purchased Windy Point Park.
Yes.
Approximately when would that have been?
I bought the first of it in late '69, and then I kept buying increments as they become available. They were all vacant property at the time until I had acquired almost 12 acres of various lots in one block.
Okay. Currently, who is the owner of Windy Point Park?
I am the sole owner. It's a corporation. It's a Chapter S corporation.
And is that Windy Point Park Inc. or is
Yes.
that Barstow Limited Partners?
No, they're two different entities.
Okay. And so which one do you believe is the owner of Windy Point Park?
Barstow Limited Partnership. Not of the park. I am the owner of the park. It is the owner of the land.
Okay, okay. Why don't you describe what Windy Point Park is?
It's a public park business.
And what kind of features or amenities does it have?
Well, and we had an awful lot of waterfront, deep waterfront, and an easement. And with the easement, we've got almost half a mile of waterfront access to the lake.
Okay, so people windsurf, snorkel out there?
Well, from our easement, they did, multiple. Mostly from our waterfront, people swam and scuba dived.
And
very deep.
when you mention waterfront, it's off of Lake Travis?
Yes.
Okay. Has Jan Barstow ever held an ownership interest in either Windy Point Park Inc. or Barstow Limited Partners?
No.
What about an officer? Has she ever been an officer of one of those entities?
She was a president of the corporation, Windy Point Park.
Do you recall approximately how long she was the president?
Maybe a year, plus or minus a little bit.
Did you end up firing Jan from
Yes.
presidency?
Yes.
And why?
We were operating at a loss.
Now, do you have personal knowledge about the trailer that Jan is claiming was converted?
Yes.
And you also have personal knowledge about the mail, correct?
Not so much the mail, because there was a great deal of problems around who was getting it and where they were getting it and what have you.
Okay. At some point, Jan was the park manager, wasn't she?
Yes.
And my understanding is that she did a poor job as a park manager. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And at some point, you fired her for being park manager.
Well, for creating a loss instead of a profit.
Well, and just to help you out with dates, I'm going to give you Exhibit 2, which is the lease agreement that shows it's effective November 1 of 2023. Do you see that?
Now, what is this?
This is the lease agreement. You see where it says real estate lease?
Yeah.
And it's between Windy Point Park Inc.
Yeah.
and Two Daredevils LLC. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And this is effective November 1 of 2023, correct?
Yes.
And so Jan would have been fired prior to November 1 of 2023.
That is correct.
And when she was fired, isn't it true that you also asked Jan to move out of the park?
Yes.
Because Jan had been living there as her residence, correct?
As manager, she was required to live there.
But when you fired her, you didn't want her to live there anymore.
That is right.
And when she was fired, would you agree with me, she also should not have been receiving mail at the park anymore?
That is true.
Okay, but I guess my question goes to Jan knowing that she should go get another mailbox somewhere else.
Oh, yes.
She knew that, right?
Yes.
Okay. You agree with me, though, that the lease gave Stephen and Two Daredevils the right to receive mail at the park?
Yes.
So I want to talk about the trailer that was disposed of that had a bunch of stuff inside of it
Yeah,
that Jan is claiming my client somehow stole.
yeah.
Did you ever go inside that trailer?
No,
My understanding is that it was previously owned by a guy named Norm.
yes.
Do you know if Norm has a last name?
I don't remember it.
And how did you know Norm?
Through my son Richard, and I think we owned a houseboat together that we bought.
How did it come about that Norm moved this trailer to the park?
He was storing it there. He sold his property where the and let's see. Well, he sold his property and had to move his stuff out.
At some point, did Jan tell you she wanted the trailer?
Yes,
And what did y'all talk about?
I think she claimed to own the trailer.
But Norm is the person who actually owned the trailer and its contents, correct?
That is my understanding.
Isn't it true that you authorized the trailer to be taken away for trash?
Yes, I agreed to that.
But to your knowledge, Norm never gave Jan the trailer or the contents of the trailer.
Yes, that's true.
Did you ever see Jan inside that trailer?
No,
Did you ever see Jan use anything inside the trailer?
no,
But to your knowledge, Jan never paid Windy Point Park for that trailer.
to my knowledge, never.
And she didn't pay for any of the contents inside of the trailer either.
That's true.
But without a doubt, when Stephen and his company took possession of the park, Jan no longer had a right to be out there.
Yes, that's true.
And you never gave her permission to stay in the trailer that she slept in once Stephen took possession of the park.
True.
Okay. Let's look at Exhibit 2, this one right here. On page 1, you agree with me that the tenant is entitled to possession on the first day of this lease, correct?
First day of, I see the red, I don't see November on your,
But this is just establishing that he's entitled to possession under this lease, correct?
yes,
And then a couple lines down, you agreed that the tenant would have full use of the trailers, the residences, the buildings, and appurtenances, correct?
yes, yes.
Then if we skip down a few lines, let's go a little further. Let's check one more line. Okay. You agreed that the tenant would have full authority to move, remove, or dispose of any boats, trailers, refuse, and debris on the property, correct?
Yes.
Now, would that have included the trailer with this junk in it that used to be owned by Norm?
Yes,
Okay. My understanding is that Jan was ultimately removed from the property in October or November of 2024, last year.
yes,
But you agree with me that Jan's presence on the property was a violation of the lease agreement.
yes.
I'm going to hand you Exhibit 4.
Okay, I've got this.
Okay, Exhibit 4 is an email dated December 16 that you sent to Jan, correct?
Yeah, 2023, yes.
And in this email, you told Jan that she had all the mail from the locked post box, including the Parks mail, and you wanted her to give all the mail to you and the key to Steve, correct?
Yes,
And that's because Steve had a right to the mailbox under the lease.
yes.
I'm going to hand you Exhibit 5.
Okay. Okay,
Okay, the top of this email is dated January 2nd, and it's an email that you sent to Jan, correct?
yes, 2024.
And in this email, you told Jan that you were going to have Steve replace the mailbox, correct?
Yes,
And that's because Jan had the park's mail, correct?
Yes.
And she wasn't providing it to the park.
true.
Okay, I'm going to hand you Exhibit 8. Let's see, got 2 copies. Okay, so at the top, do you see it's an email from you to Jan dated January 8 of 24?
Yes,
And in this email, you stated that Jan was asked to give Steve a key to the mailbox, and he refused, correct?
yes,
And that's why there was a new mailbox installed.
yes,
And in this January timeframe, Jan did not have your permission or authorization to be living at the park.
that is true.
I'm going to hand you Exhibit 10.
All right.
Okay. Do you agree that this is an email that you sent to Sterling Lozali on April 1, along with a bunch of other people?
Yes,
And who is Sterling Lozali?
he's my grandson. He's one of Jan's children.
Okay. Who is Ian David Barstow Loza?
Another of Jan's children.
Okay. Why were you sending Sterling this email?
Just to keep them advised about things happening with the park.
Okay. And do you agree with everything that you wrote at the time you wrote it?
I wouldn't have read it otherwise. I haven't read the content, but
Well, you say that you leased the park to another company in November, and that's
Yes.
correct.
yeah,
That it being the tenant has a right to use all of the property it leases, correct?
yes,
The tenant wanted possession of the trailer that Jan has lived in ever since, that's correct.
yeah,
And the tenant is paying for Jan's electricity, that's correct too.
I presume that's correct, yes.
And you also mentioned that Jan has had ample time to move and refused. You believe that to be true, correct?
Yes,
And you recognize that you have an obligation to honor the lease with Stevens Company, correct?
Sorry about that, Your Honor. I'm going to pause it and see if it's fixed going forward.
yes,
I'm going to hand you Exhibit 12.
okay, I've got I sent it to Steve.
Okay, so Exhibit 12 is an email that you forwarded to Steve on May 6 of 2024, correct?
Yes,
And underneath your email to Stephen, it looks like there's a notice of eviction that you sent to Jan. Is that correct?
Yes,
And basically, you're just telling Jan again in May that she has no right to be in the trailer, correct?
yes,
And you mentioned that she doesn't pay any rent, she doesn't have a contract, and that your tenant is paying her electricity.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Barstow, I'm going to hand you Exhibit 15. And Mr. Barstow,
Okay.
how are you doing, by the way? Do you need a break?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Remember,
I can hold it.
if you need anything, let me know.
I got you.
Okay, so, do you recognize Exhibit 15 to be email communications between you and Jan in late May?
Yes,
And about halfway down the page, in all bold letters, you told Jan, and I'll quote, "Do not interfere with my tenant's management of the lease," correct?
yes,
And you told her that she had months to remove her stuff and chose not to.
yes.
Why were you sending her an email to tell her not to interfere with the tenant's management?
I can't tell you that. It speaks for itself. But we've been having troubles with her. You know, when she didn't move out.
I'm going to hand you Exhibit 17.
Okay. Okay, I got the headline.
Okay. This is an email that you sent to Jan on July 16 of 2024, correct?
Yes,
And this documents that Jan is still squatting in the park property, correct?
that I'm what?
That Jan is still squatting in the park property?
Well, I've got to read the rest of it. Yes, that involves that. I offer her to stay at my place.
And you're acknowledging in here that you can't ethically deliver 100% of the property to Stephen as long as she is continuing to live on the property.
I don't read that in here.
Okay? The last line of the first paragraph says, I can't...
There are only 2 paragraphs.
Right. When we start right here. I can't ethically do that until I deliver 100% of the property I promised to Steve.
Yes,
So
Okay.
that means Steve didn't have 100% of the property.
we know that. Well, I'm sorry, yes, that's true, because I leased him use of the trailer
Okay.
along with the rent he was paying.
And you offered for Jan to move in with you, correct?
Yes,
And you told her she didn't have to pay you rent, right?
that's true,
And if she couldn't afford food, you would cover the food, correct?
right,
And Jan didn't move in with you, did she?
that's right.
Do you remember getting 2 letters from my office?
No,
Okay. But at least as of August 13, we know that Jan was still squatting on the property, correct?
yes,
Okay. And September 13, Jan was still squatting on the property, correct?
yes,
Do you agree with Richard's statement that you were the one who authorized removal of the cargo trailer?
yes,
Okay. I'm going to hand you Exhibit 20. Okay, so that we can complete our timeline. This is an email that you sent to Stephen dated November 9 of 2024.
yes,
And you were informing Stephen that Jan had finally been kicked out.
yes,
But at this point, Stephen had already vacated the property, correct?
Yes,
It took a year to evict Jan after the lease was executed, correct?
yes.
Generally speaking, were you satisfied with the way that Stephen was operating the park?
I was very satisfied. I'd liked him to come back.
Okay, and you liked the way he operated the park better than Jan did,
Yes,
and better than Richard did.
yes.
Do you believe that Jan should have filed a lawsuit against Stephen and Jay?
No,
Do you in any way support that lawsuit?
no,
And if it was up to you, would that lawsuit be dismissed?
yes.
Okay. Have you understood all of my questions today?
Well, do you mind repeating that? Yes, I do.
And have I been nice and professional to you throughout this
You
deposition?
have been very nice and professional,
Okay.
and I congratulate you.
Well, thank you. At this time, I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. So we would move on now, Ms. Pena, to your next witness. Who would that be? Or do you, we can also take a break if it now makes sense to stretch our legs a little and take a 10-minute break.
It's up to you, Your Honor. I'm ready to keep going through though, if you're ready.
Where are you going to go next?
We're going to call John J. Barstow, and he should be in the waiting room under the D's witnesses.
Okay, let's go ahead then. We'll go ahead and do one more then, and then we might take a break.
And how are you related to the plaintiff, Jan Barstow?
I'm her older brother.
Do people also refer to you as Jay?
Most often, yes.
You're currently the vice president of Windy Point Park,
Yes, I am.
and your dad, Bob Barstow, is the owner of Windy Point Park.
Yes, ma'am, he sure is.
You understand that you're being sued for stealing Jan and Mr. Raza's mail, this trailer we've identified as Norm's trailer, as well as the contents of that trailer?
Yes, I do.
And did you steal any of that stuff?
I did not.
Let's talk about the mail specifically. What role did you have in collecting or handling any of the mail that went to the park?
I basically took the mail and forwarded it to the post office.
Okay. At one point, my understanding is that Jan Barstow and Fahim Raza had access to the mailbox.
Yes,
And then eventually that mailbox was changed out and there was a key put on the mailbox.
correct.
Are you aware of whether the park had any complaints about getting mail between November 1 of 2023 until the key was put on the box?
Yes, they did.
And what were the complaints of the park?
They weren't able to access their mail properly.
And for the record, you live across the street from the park, correct?
Yes, I do.
It's my understanding that eventually the mailbox was rekeyed and that Mr. Schur, or a representative of the park, is the person who had the key. Is that correct?
Correct.
And my understanding is that Mr. Schur gave you everyone's mail who was not affiliated with Mr. Schur so that you could then distribute it to the proper persons.
Correct.
And when it came to Jan's mail, did you take that mail to the post office so that Jan could pick it up?
Jan and Fahim's mail.
Did you tell them their mail was at the post office for pickup?
Yes, I did.
Do you have a good relationship currently with Jan Barstow or Mr. Raza?
I would have to answer no.
And at the time you were delivering the mail to the mailbox, would you also agree that your relationship was estranged at that time?
Yes, it was.
Did you have any concerns about being accused of doing improper things with the mail if you didn't take it to the post office?
Very much.
Did you ever have any intent to deny Ms. Barstow or Mr. Raza their ability to get the mail?
Absolutely not.
I want to talk about Norm's trailer. Do you know which trailer I'm talking about?
I sure do. Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever see Jan Barstow or Mr. Raza inside the trailer?
Never.
Do you know anything about the removal of the trailer based on your personal knowledge?
No, ma'am, I was not there.
Did you hire anyone to remove the trailer?
No, I did not.
Did anybody pay you to remove the trailer?
They did not.
Do you know where the trailer is today?
No, I do not.
Your Honor, I'll pass the witness.
All right, now is the time for, well, first I'll say to the witness, since he actually represents himself, I want to make sure that he doesn't have any additional testimony.
I'm sorry, Judge, we can't hear you.
Okay, then we need to call IT back and we need to
We can
get
hear you
IT
now.
up.
We can hear you now.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So first off, let's wait a minute, Mr. Raza, if we can go forward. You'll get a chance to ask questions. So first off, let me ask the witness if and make sure, since he represents himself, he's not actually represented by Ms. Pena, does he have any additional narrative testimony that he wishes to put into the record? I'm sorry, you're muted. So can you unmute yourself again?
No, that's Jay.
Did that work?
Yes. Did you want to say anything else in the narrative form?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so then now Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza would have a chance to ask questions. And which one of you are going to ask the questions to this witness? Mr. Raza, it looks like. All right, then unmute yourself. And you may proceed.
Mr. Barstow, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, lower your volume. Okay. No. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Okay.
It's
Can
not
you
going to
hear me?
work. Now it's working. Go ahead.
Oh. I can't hear. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Hello?
We
Hello?
can hear you.
Okay. So this is fine. Hey, Mr. John J. Barstow, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And yourself?
Okay. I'm good. I'm surviving, man.
I'm glad to hear
Anyway,
that.
this is a family thing. We have to do this. I'm sorry for this. Okay. Since you put the lock, do you remember the date when you put the lock on the, or Stephen Scherer put the lock on the mailbox? Do you remember the date?
No, I do not.
Okay. Okay, since the mailbox was locked, we were unable to access. How much mail you got for us to deliver us? The way you said you were delivering to us.
Whatever Stephen gave me, I had no key to the mailbox.
So the key was with Steve, not with you?
I never had a key to any of the mailboxes.
Okay. I have a text message on the lawsuit that Stephen texts me a message that I have given the key to Jay. He can do everything. He can do mail everything. Okay. That's not. Another question. So whenever you receive a mail from Scherer, how long it take to be bringing to us? When you bring it last time? Do you remember the date?
No, I don't. No, I
Okay,
don't.
you
Not the
don't.
exact date. No, I don't.
Okay. Do you remember the sheriff came to your door and collected our mail from you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How long it was since the mailbox was logged and the sheriff came to your door?
Not very
And
long
do
at
you
all.
remember? And do you remember when you go to the post office to tell them return our mail to the post box? I need the dates.
I don't have a
Because-
date. I went to the post office multiple times.
Okay, multiple times. What was the first time?
First time would be when Stephen first gave me the mail.
No, first time after the sheriff came to you.
After the sheriff. The sheriff, first time was to the sheriff. Second
What
time was to the
sheriff
post office.
told you? What sheriff told you? Can you share with us?
He said, I will take this mail over for you.
Okay, so you are not doing something wrong. He can carry all the time. We need to call sheriff and he will bring to us. That's what he said to you?
I was doing nothing wrong. No, I was
It's
not
all
doing
right.
anything
You were
wrong.
you were not doing wrong. I'm telling you what happened. And you are agreed what happened. Am I right?
I didn't want to bring the mail over there because somebody was always photographing me and saying things.
Then why you are holding mail to you yourself? It was checks, it was business, it was social security, it was like citizenship letters. Why you were holding it?
I had my own mail. I had my own mailbox
I know, but I'm asking about my mail.
because I was doing my father's bidding.
So your father told you to do that, or Steven told you
Yes,
to do that?
my father,
Your father told you to hold our mail?
to deliver it to the post office.
Okay. Before the post office, you delivered the mail before the post office. Where is the before mail you were holding? Where the sheriff came to bring us to us?
When the
I have a
sheriff came,
video. I have a video conversation with the sheriff, and it's in an exhibit. It's in an exhibit. Okay, so I can prove what I'm saying. He asked you, do not ever do this.
Your
Okay?
Honor, I'd like to object to this question. First off, any video with a sheriff on it has not been listed on an exhibit list and not uploaded to the box. To the extent Mr. Raza is testifying about what a sheriff said, that's all hearsay.
Okay, I'm fine. I'm fine. Can I go further? I can take it off. I can take it off.
You can ask another question.
I will, ma'am. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Hey, Jay Barstow, are you there? Can you listen me?
can you hear me? Or
Yes,
do
of
you
course.
see me?
Okay,
Okay, there's,
you were sending our mail to the post office. Are we officially evicted from the property, or are we living over there?
you were not living there legally.
Okay,
You
are
were
we
squatting on the
evicted?
property.
Are we evicted legally from there?
The owner of the property told me what to do with the mail,
Okay.
and I
Were
did
we living
as
over there
as he
physically?
requested me.
Sir, my question is, we were living over there physically? Do you
You had
legal
physical
orders?
presence
We are
there,
not
but
live
you were
and
not
we are
there.
living. I'm not arguing. I'm asking questions.
I'm
Say
sorry,
yes or
I'm
no.
sorry, I'm sorry. I cannot take you both talking at the same time. Thank you.
I'm slowing down. Jay, simple question. When you returned my mail to my
Don't talk over me either. Stop talking. And wait, you cannot talk at the same time that I'm talking or anybody else is talking. She can't get a record. And so now we're going to start. The whole last minute or so is going to be, unreadable in the transcript, untranscribable. So, Mr. Raza, you may ask a question and then allow the witness a chance to answer. Go ahead.
Hello? I don't know. I'm trying to understand that.
Go ahead and talk.
Your Honor, you said you asked me a question. Am I right?
No, I said you need to ask questions. We're not
Okay,
gonna
okay.
talk over each other. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Mr. Barsu, when you were sending our mail to the post office, were we legally evicted from the property or where the premises were living? My question is, let me repeat, we were legally evicted or not?
I was following the directive of the owner of the property.
You were doing whatever you, hold on. You were doing whatever people saying you were not following the law?
He was the owner of the property.
Of course he is, but you were following the law or not? My question is this.
Your Honor, I object to the question is calling for a legal
Okay.
conclusion.
Okay, okay, fine, that's fine.
He's moving on.
It's fine. So sheriff told you something when he collected mail, mine and Jan from you. Did he told you something?
He said he offered to take the mail for me because I didn't want a confrontation.
Did you ever have a confrontation?
Constantly, when Jan would come up to me with the camera in my face, and I didn't want to do that.
With me, with Fahim.
You've done it as well.
Okay. Fine. So you were holding our mail because of a confrontation. Am I right? You were holding our mail, not delivering it because of our confrontation. Am I right?
At the direction, I was acting at the direction of my father.
Okay. Looks like he's a Titanic. Okay, fine. I'm done, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Barstow.
All right. How many times did you take the mail to the post? Did you take the mail in your car personally to the post office? How did you do that?
I took it personally to the post office.
We can't hear you.
Did you
I
say
took
that?
it. I took it I wish I could use sign language. I took it personally to the post office.
All right. How many times do you think you took it, or about how frequently did you take the mail to the post office?
Multiple times. Multiple times.
Did you ever leave mail behind?
Never. I even put in junk mail addressed to you.
All right. Why would the post office tell me that it's not there when I went to go get it?
I do not speak for the post office.
Did you ask them to collect it for me or to hold it, or what did you do?
I handed them the mail.
All right.
I said, this is not a legal resident of the property.
Did I send an email of federal law that stated that until an eviction is proper, then the landlord cannot withhold the mail?
You were not.
Procedures.
Repeat the question.
Okay. Did I send you an email stating the federal law about who can and cannot receive mail?
Yes.
Okay. And are there legal procedures to go through to conduct an eviction that provides legal residence?
I object to the question. This witness isn't an expert. He's not a lawyer. He shouldn't have to testify about eviction procedures. He wasn't involved in any evictions.
Okay, his father's an attorney.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Sustained,
sorry.
sustained on the objections. We need to ask him a different question.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay.
How many times he delivered meal to Jennifer?
They didn't. So is Jennifer employed by the park?
No,
Is Leslie employed by the park?
no,
Is Andrew employed by the park?
no.
Did you return their mail as well
Yes,
to the post office?
they did. They were living legally in their house.
True. Where did you take the mail to them?
Jennifer did. I had no instructions.
Okay. So Jennifer delivered Leslie's and Andrew's and Jennifer's mail and Sarah's, and Jennifer delivered other people's mail.
Richard was Barstow Limited Partnership, Jan.
True. So when other people received mail at the park that were not employed by the park, Richard was not employed by the park either. When other people received mail at the park, and at that address, I should say, when other people received mail at that address, did you return their mail to them?
Yes, if they had a legal reason to have that mail, Richard was part of the park's operation.
Well, he was a former manager, yes, but not at that time.
He's
All right.
Barstow Limited Partnership.
Yes, but they completely leased it away. He did not have anything with the park at the time. So when the sheriff came to your door, why would he collect the mail?
He said he would do me a favor. He said that you would not confront
Where did he
him.
say he was going to take it? To the post office?
He was going to give it to you. He said that you would not confront him.
Well, that is true. I would hope most people don't. I have a lot of respect for law enforcement. You keep mentioning that I confronted you. Tell me an occasion when you tried to bring the mail and there was any confrontation.
Jan,
Please tell one.
numerous occasions
Please
he
describe
would
one.
accost me with a camera, and I did not appreciate it. Very confrontational.
I remember when you came at my door with a hammer and I was frightened. I truly did feel safer if a camera would move you away, but that is not an accost. That is because I felt attacked and frightened.
That was not me, Jan.
This did occur.
That was not me.
All right. Well, you were with somebody. Who was that?
At the direction of my father, that was a locksmith.
A locksmith would take a hammer to a door?
He was having a problem with the lock.
Wouldn't a hammer destroy the door he's trying to change?
I'm not a locksmith, Jan.
It felt like he was pounding hinges off and ripping the wood on the inside with a tool that was crammed through, that was hooked and scratching all over.
Your Honor, I'm objecting to the extent that Ms. Barstow is testifying, and she's previously testified. She's not asking any questions.
Okay. There was, this was about a confrontation.
That doesn't matter. That's not the objection. The objection's not tell me what really happened. The objection is you can't testify when you're asking questions. So you need to ask questions, not have a discussion with the witness where you're then also telling your side of the story. That's not how we do things in a court of law. So ask questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Did Jan try to work out an arrangement so that it might be left on a step with a friend in a box, a different location? What alternatives that she mentioned would have been suitable to you?
Mute. The safest way was to take it to the post office.
The law states that if you know the person, you're supposed to take it to them like you did with Jennifer and Leslie and others.
I object to Ms. Barstow trying to cite laws.
Sustained. You got to rephrase your question, Ms. Barstow.
I
A few
caught
more
that
questions,
midway.
and then we need to move on. We need to move on. So ask a few more questions.
All right. Did you ever withhold checks from Jan?
No.
Do you recall seeing checks from our father?
That was none of my business, Jan.
It was. Do you recall seeing checks that were returned in the mail?
No.
Did you ever drop a check off, a returned check off in a Richard's mailbox?
If it was a Richard letter, but only if it's addressed to him.
Do you know who else would have dropped off my check, my returned check in Richard's mailbox?
No, I do not.
Okay. There was a check marked return to sender that was returned to the address.
I'm objecting again to Ms. Barstow testifying.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Barstow, two more questions. We got to make
Okay.
some questions. Okay.
All right.
Question.
Did you ever withhold Jan's driver's license?
No.
Did you ever send Jan's driver's license back?
No.
Do you recall a video where Jan saw you and Kristen and asked you where her driver's license was? Because do you recall being questioned where Jan's driver's license was?
Not specifically, but generally. It all went to the post office, which is what I said.
Do you know Jan Barstow?
I'm looking at her.
Would you ever have told anybody that you don't know her?
After 71 years, I don't think so.
Okay, I pass the witness.
All right. Anything else from you, Ms. Pena?
Your Honor, no further questions.
And then, no, Mr. Raza, you don't get another chance because that would have been together as plaintiffs. And so then the only other person would get a chance to be Mr. Barstow himself if there's anything else he wants to testify to.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Then we're going to move on to the next witness. We're going to take a 15-minute break. We're going to come back. We're going to go from 4 to 5. And Ms. Pena, you're going to have your next witness ready when we get back. Thank you.
Hold on.
Okay. Ms. Marcroft, what is your relationship to Jan Barstow?
She is my mother.
And what's the status of that relationship right now?
There really isn't one right now.
What's your relationship to Bob Barstow?
I have a good relationship with my grandfather.
Did you previously work at the park?
I did.
And did you work at the park when your mom managed the park?
I did. I worked for both Stephen and my mother.
The testimony earlier was that your mom was fired from her management role prior to November 1 of 2023. Do you know whether your grandfather or Stephen gave consent to Jan Barstow to continue living on the property?
No, they both asked her to be out.
And despite that, did Jan Barstow and Mr. Raza continue to occupy the property from November 1 of 2023 all the way through, I think they were finally evicted in October of 2024?
Yeah, they continued to stay.
Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza are claiming that my client and your uncle, Jay Barstow, stole her mail. Do you believe they stole any mail from Ms. Barstow or Mr. Raza?
Absolutely not. I heard many conversations where they were concerned about making sure they were doing everything right and everybody got what they were supposed to.
When you were at the park, did a postal worker ever show up to talk about this mail dispute at all?
Yes, there was a postal worker from whatever the local post office is. He came out, he walked, he talked with Stephen, he talked with Jay. I was part of the tail end of the conversation. I didn't hear most of it. What I did hear is he said that to continue on as they were, that the post office didn't have any concerns with anything, that they were doing what they were supposed to. And that he was well aware of the situation involving the family.
When you say continue on as they were, is that taking Jan and Mr. Raza's mail to the post office for her to pick up?
Correct, taking their mail to the post office.
There was testimony earlier about a law enforcement officer coming out to the park. Were you there on a day that law enforcement came out to talk about the mail?
Yes, I was there when the sheriff or the officer came to Jay's cabin. I was over there visiting with Jay when the officer came up, asked if Jay had Jan's mail. He had just come. He said he had just come from talking with her, and he asked why he had not taken it over there. And Jay and Jennifer both expressed concern about a possible confrontation. And the officer volunteered to take it to her and said that there would be no confrontation if he took it. And he suggested that it be taken to the post office in the future.
I want to switch gears and talk about what I've been calling Norm's trailer.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm referring to when I say Norm's trailer?
Yes, I do.
And where was that trailer located?
It was located close to where the park is. So it was right next to the parking lot and right by where you walk in and pay to get into the park. So is it fair to say that people who are entering the park will see this trailer upon arrival? They have to drive by it or park in front of it. And was the trailer an eyesore? Yes, it's a big freight trailer that's been sitting there and for a long time. Were you ever around when your grandfather was talking to your mother about needing to remove the trailer if she wanted it? I don't remember. I can't recall any specific conversations. I was there for a lot of conversations and a lot was covered. Were you there on the day that the trailer was removed? I was. Was your mom, Jan Barstow, or Fahim Raza there at the day and the time that the trailer was removed? No. So I had left to pick up my grandfather. Usually if my grandfather was at the park, I was the one that was taking him. I gave him a lot of rides. So I had gone to pick him up. On our way back, we passed my mother and my Aunt Dana leaving. And as far as I know, Fahim was out of town. I did not see him that day. But yeah, I brought my grandfather to the park that day when it was taken off. And did you witness the trailer being removed? Yes, I was there behind the front desk when the gentleman walked in and he asked for the owner, and my grandfather was sitting right next to the fee station where we check people in. There's a picnic table. He was sitting right there, and we pointed him to him, and he asked if he was the owner of the park and if that was the trailer, and pointed back to the trailer if that was the trailer, that if he could take it off. And my grandfather kind of looked at his arm and he goes, "Get it out of here."
When you were working at the park, did you have regular interaction with Mr. Schur?
Constantly.
Okay, and was Mr. Schur in any way involved with the actual removal of the trailer?
No. When the guy came up, Steven said that he needed to, he asked for the owner, and Steven said he wasn't the owner and he needed to talk to the owner.
Did your uncle, well, let me ask you this, was your uncle there at the, and this is your uncle Jay Barstow, was he there at the time the trailer was removed?
No, he was not in the park.
And to your knowledge, did Jay Barstow have anything to do with the removal of the trailer?
No, nothing.
I want to clarify some testimony that was provided earlier. I know your grandfather is old. I believe he's 95. Does that sound about right?
That's correct.
Do you believe he's got all of his mental faculties at the moment?
Yes, he does. He's a very funny guy.
Jan Barstow referenced him being beat down one day and peeing his pants and staying in that way for like 3 hours. Were you there on the day that this conversation, I guess, took place?
Yes, if it's the day I'm recalling, I took him out to the park several times during the period she was in Pakistan. Each time he never wanted to go home. He loved being out there. Usually he was only there when I took him. And so, no, if he needed to use the restroom, he would get up and go. He was very independent, still is.
And so you never saw him having any kind of incontinence issues?
Absolutely not. He would pee behind a tree before he would wet himself.
I have the impression that the family has a lot of dysfunction. Is that a fair characterization?
That's yes, that definitely is.
When it comes to your mother, as between her and all of the siblings or your aunts or uncles, does Jan Barstow have a reputation for truthfulness?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Your Honor, I'll pass the witness.
Jan Barstow or
Your Honor, I think it takes a while for your microphone to warm up. We can't hear you.
Can you hear it now? What about now?
Is it out
Right.
or
I'm going to talk to IT about that. That's been a new thing since I got an upgrade in technology. So there you go. All right. So now Ms. Barstow or Mr. Raza, you're up if you have questions. It looks like Ms. Barstow is going to go first. You may proceed.
I believe Dawn was some written questions.
Mute. Okay, I'm sorry. Kristen, how are you? Hey, who are you?
I'm good.
Okay. How kids? Everything is fine?
Everything's fine.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear. Hello?
Can y'all hear me?
Is your computer on mute?
Yes.
No. Something wrong. Who knows?
I took mine off mute now. I'm gonna put both of them on.
Kristen, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm good now. Okay. Okay. Good. Kristen, I have a question which is, can you hear me?
Yes.
My question is very simple, that you had a plans to come to move Austin to bring your family and live together over there?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
we've been wanting to move to Austin.
Okay. I turned it off. So your mom asked you that you will be the manager of the Windy Point Park?
She brought that up as a possibility.
Yes, because she wanted to see you as a manager and live over there because you were living in a hard life. Okay. So you were planning to do that. Am I right?
Well, I'm not sure. The opportunity was never presented, and I had my concerns about
Okay.
moving
So
down
you,
and managing the park under the circumstances that were there at the time.
okay. So your concern was your mom was not managing very well, or neither she can provide you an opportunity to come back here. Am I right?
I believe you said that I had concerns about my mom's management. Yes.
Okay. And hold on. Okay. So you decided to find a way to be there with a better management. Am I right?
No, I was trying to do what was right for the family and for the park. My grandfather was wanting to find a permanent manager.
Okay. You were worried about your family property and your grandpa. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. So have you checked Stephen's background? Is he was the previously owned and managed like in a properties before that?
I had no problem with Stephen coming in and managing. I had many conversations with him, many interactions with him,
Okay.
with his son. I had
Okay.
no concerns about him coming in.
Okay. But have you checked his credentials previous last 10 years?
No, that was not my place.
Okay. Then conversations cannot make anybody to be okay. I'm not going over there. Oh, it's all right. Okay. Another question. Did you share number with the Stephen Scherer when he raised his financial proposal to Windy Point Park to your grandpa? How he got his numbers from the from Windy Point Park inbox?
Wait, did I share what?
The figures, how much the Windy Point Park earning, losing, and whatever. Who shared with Stirling or Stephen Scherer?
So I talked to y'all. You and my mother knew that I was giving Stephen some of the sales numbers from the inventory. I did not have access to
Do you
QuickBooks
think
or
do you
anything else.
supposed to do that thing? Any business, other business entirety, where you are access to login? Is it ethical?
So
I-
once again, Mr. Raza, I'm going to remind
Okay.
that you can't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I'm just coming up with a Pakistani way. I'm sorry. I have to stop. And I'm not a lawyer. I need to understand the rules and regulation, and I'll follow that. Okay. You said you were present. You said you were present at the time of when the trailer was hauled, which we are claiming is stolen. Am I right? Do you got my
Yes,
question?
Yes, I was there.
So who signed the paper? Your grandpa or a Stephen? Because the hauler needs to sign a paper. So you were over there. Who signed the paper?
I did not witness anybody sign a paper. I witnessed a gentleman come down.
So, okay.
I don't know who he was. He
Okay.
talked to
Okay.
my grandfather, and he said to get it out of here after he identified himself as the owner of Winnie Point Park.
Okay, good, good, good. So a hauler came and took the stuff from the property without signing any contract, any legal thing, and he took away. And your grandpa is responsible for that. You mean to say?
He told him to get it out of here.
Okay. So he knows his name?
I do not know his name.
No, I'm talking about grandpa must be knowing him.
I have no idea about that.
That's the thing. So you don't know that whether he was called by your grandpa or somebody else. You don't know that. Or you know that.
I'm sorry, can you ask that again?
You don't know the hauler called by your grandpa or somebody else. You don't know that.
All I know is the hauler did not know my grandfather.
Okay.
When he
good.
saw him, he asked for the owner of the park. My grandfather identified
Thank you.
himself and said, get it out of here. That is
Thank
all
you,
I
thank you.
know.
So my question was, who was the person who called a hauler?
Nobody, Steven didn't know the guy when he walked up, and he didn't know Steven. Grandpa didn't know the guy. I have no idea.
Jay, look, I mean, there was somebody to call hauler. I need to know the name person who called hauler.
Jay did not even know the trailer was being hauled off and was surprised. We were all surprised when the guy showed up.
Okay, okay. Your grandpa don't know the hauler is. Steven Scherer don't know the hauler is. Jay don't know is the hauler is. Hauler had a dream at night. There is a trailer. Go and grab it. It's mine. So
I have
somebody.
no idea.
Okay. You don't know that. You don't know that. My question is, you don't know that.
I don't know. I know.
Exactly. So you are not sure that your grandpa called the hauler. You are not sure.
Nobody said anything about making a call to a hauler and having somebody come out that day.
Exactly. That's what I mean. If somebody is not calling anybody, how can somebody come to pick up some things? My question is this.
I don't know. I do know that there had been a lot of emails that went back and forth about the trailer needing to be removed.
Whose
Beyond
email?
that,
Do you know whose emails was there?
Beyond that, I do not know.
Okay. Oh, it's all right. If you don't know, it's all right. But you cannot claim that the hauler was called by your grandpa. Am I right? No. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's what I want clarification. Thank you very much. Because I know the hauler. I can prove it, the hauler. Who called him, I can prove in a court. But your grandpa haven't called the hauler. Am I right?
Not that I know of.
Thank you. That's what.
Okay.
I'm done. It's your turn, Jan. I'm sorry. Kristen, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Now, if we're done, is it still like you can't hear me? Or can you hear me?
I
can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Miss Barstow, it's your turn to ask questions. Thank you.
All right. First of all, good to see you. She's my eldest. And she had a sterling reputation working at the park before when she was younger. So Kristen, had I talked with you about trying to step up to the plate as potential management for a stretch when I first brought you in?
Yes, and I raised concerns about.
Can you hear me?
Dynamics.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
When I hired you, what did I hire you to do the first time I brought you in? Early summer or fall? I mean, spring before.
Are we talking about before you added me on the payroll, the year before, or the year I was officially working for you?
Officially. There was a spring. Yeah, that spring. When I asked you to, I'm telling you. What did I ask you to do? What area of responsibility did I ask you to take over?
I had been working on plans for inventory for about a year before that. And that's what you asked me to be in charge of, was setting up inventory.
Yeah, this was the store that the park was going to be opening. And did you locate, did you see some air-conditioned boxes? We take you out to go see some air-conditioned boxes? Right,
Oh, yes. Jennifer and I went out and saw some air-conditioned walk-in boxes, yes.
And were y'all making some interesting plans how they could be customized on the
There
park?
were lots of possibilities, but that did not happen.
That's right. So about that time, did you come across some vending machines?
Yes, you asked me to find some vending machines, and I did.
All right. And were you successful in convincing the park owner to get the vending machines?
I talked to Grandpa a little bit about it, not a whole lot. Most of my conversations were with you about the vending machines.
Yeah, did you run up some projections, just some logistics to see how feasible they would be?
Just some basic numbers, but the park had had a vending machine in the past, so it was already a proven concept.
All right. So did we purchase those vending machines?
Yes.
All right. And were you also looking at setting up a store?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to relevance.
Okay.
Sustained on relevance.
Judge,
Thank you.
we couldn't hear you, but I do have IT here with us observing.
Okay, thank you so much. But you can hear me now. I think they just need to see what's happening so they can diagnose the problem for future Zoom activity. So let's continue forward. Thank you. Go ahead and ask relevant questions, Ms. Barstow.
So early that summer, did I talk to you about stepping up to the plate to be closer to management in preparation?
You brought that up many times, and I always shared my concern because of the family dynamics.
And at the time, Grandpa forbade it, would not even allow me to hire you. It was frustrating. So did I continue paying you anyway?
I was working for the park. At first, for about a year, I was told I would be put on the payroll, and I was working for you, and I was not paid. Once you finally added me to the payroll, I continued to work for the park. I drove down from Dallas and was physically at the park working. So yes, you continued to pay me because I continued to work.
And were you aware that was against Grandpa's wishes at the time in those circumstances?
When I talked to Grandpa about me working at the park, he had no idea that I had been helping you for as long as I was, and he had no problem with me working at the park.
Oh, no. Family members. He forbade me from bringing in family members, but I did. I had plans. So do you remember the conversation when I broke it to you that Grandpa would not let you be a manager?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again as to relevance.
Oh,
Okay. I hesitate to speak because I'm worried there you won't hear me, but I'm going to sustain on relevance.
okay.
We need to ask relevant questions.
Krista,
The hour is getting long, Ms. Barstow.
Management through, were you offered management through Stephen and Jay?
No, I was an employee of the park.
Were you aware of the emails that mentioned you being manager and president of the park and trustee?
I was aware that that was something that was floated and that Grandpa was a part of those conversations.
Do you think that influenced the time that you spent with Stephen and Jay at that point?
Absolutely not. I love the park. I love being there. It's a part of my childhood and a part of our family. I was willing to work there to continue and grow it to what it should have always been.
I can't fault that answer because I believe some of us also feel that way. So you felt that you were doing the best by the park by standing by a transition?
Absolutely. I felt very strongly that Stephen had an amazing vision, and I know that Grandpa was thrilled because I took him out regularly to show him the changes, what was happening. I was right there at the front desk. I heard from the customers and all the new people that we had coming in. Everybody loved it, and I loved being a part of it.
When people do love the park. Do you remember the conversation you had with Grandpa at the table out front when I was in Pakistan?
I had many conversations with Grandpa at the picnic table while you were gone.
Do you remember one where y'all were talking about stale chips?
Stale chips? Are we talking about stale chips that were in the vending machine?
I was not there. I was only on the other end of the phone.
I don't know.
Okay. And were you in charge of inventory and the store at that time?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again as to relevance.
Okay, two more questions, Ms. Barstow. Two more questions, Ms. Barstow. We're out of time, I think, with this witness. We've wandered far afield. I know there's an entire history between you all, an entire history of this family, but we've got to stay focused on things that are sued for in this lawsuit. Mr. Shear is the defendant here and the company that he owns. And, you know, we need to stay focused and really hone in on what this case is about. So let's do 2 or 3 more questions and then we need to move on. Thank you.
Do you recall seeing the signs on the trailer that stated who they owned, who they belonged to?
I saw signs on the trailer. I do not know whether the signs were accurate or not.
Do you recall seeing the signs were you aware of the signs? Do you know who took the signs off?
No, I do not.
Do you know who cut the lock under the trailer? That was noisy. Do you know who cut the lock under the trailer?
I did not see the lock being cut off.
Did anybody, this gentleman who came in and you were at the front desk, which is where everybody does come. So this is where you would be.
Yes.
Did anybody, have you ever had anybody before just wander in out of the blue with a giant hauler vehicle and come to a lake park down a long drive and not come into the park to enjoy the park, but rather just want to take away things on the grounds? Have you ever experienced that kind of people coming in to the park before?
Not specifically a hauler. We had lots of different people come into the park, though.
This gentleman who ended up taking towing away our trailer, did he come into the park to enjoy the park before he left? Did he go swimming?
No, he came and said that he asked if there was the trailer was needing to be hauled off, and Stephen directed him to the owner, and Grandpa said, "Get it out of here."
Question out of the blue have you ever been asked that before? Somebody prepared to take away something 57 feet down a curvy road like that would block both lanes? on Comanche Trail. It's a narrow, winding snake road, or a
Your
57.
Honor, Joe is testifying again.
Right, we're done, I think, Ms. Barstow. This is it. That's it. It's gone on too long. It's been too confusing, so we need to move on. Do you have any follow-up questions, Ms. Pena?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you so much for your time here. You're excused as a witness, and you're free to go. Thank you. Okay, so we're at 4:30. I don't think we're going to finish tonight because I think you still have Mr. Shear to call. Is that right, Ms. Pena?
Your Honor, I do have Mr. Shear to call, and I think I could actually be done with this testimony by 5.
While I think you could, I'd rather not rush. I'd actually rather come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. I have this short hearing at 9 in the morning. I think we'll be finished by noon tomorrow. That's going to be my goal. But that way we can make sure we get everything done without keeping everybody past 5. I'm mostly talking about my staff rather than you all. And this way you get the time you need, and Ms. Barstow and Mr. Raza can ask him questions as well. So why don't everybody report back at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and we will pick back up, and we will do our best to be done by 12:30, something like that. But I think that should work.
Your Honor, can I get clarification?
Yes.
Are all the parties ordered to appear in person at the courthouse tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
Oh, I was saying, I don't think so. I think we're going to do it by Zoom. Sorry
Okay.
if I was unclear. Sorry if I was unclear. I think we're going to continue to do it by Zoom. Mr. Raza said something about that earlier. I have another in-person hearing tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I'm going to physically be in the courtroom at 9 a.m., but then I'm going to come back and do this at 10 a.m. on the Zoom platform with all of you.
Whatever you see.
All right. I think that's everything. Again, hopefully the plaintiffs can figure out their box load tonight. Again, we might have some exhibit work to do. And remember, we're not admitting them. This is just the load to offer them. And then Ms. Pena would have time to look at them, see if they're documents that she has objections to. And then we'll go from there. But I'll see everybody. It sounds like you have Mr. Shear, sure. And then do you have anybody else, Ms. Pena?
No, Your Honor, that's my last witness.
Okay. And then, so that's where we are. Thank you.
If my files are in box, there's a problem. It's just
Sorry,
that-
hold on. There's too
no.
many mics open. I got to turn off everybody's mics.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
Now go, Ms. Barstow.
My files are in box. It's just not connecting. We're trying to make that connection. They've been in box all day. I need to put an overlay sheet, but it's not connected. Would it be possible if I found key materials and had somebody else drop them in there in person just as a backup? I will try to put them and resolve that interconnection today.
Let's go off the record so you and Ms. Racanelli can have what it looks to be maybe your 8th conversation of the last 24 hours. Ms. Racanelli, we're going to go off the record. I do not understand, Ms. Barstow. I've never had difficulty with this. It's a very user-friendly system, and so I'm very confused by what is going on here. But again, earlier I said as a compromise, if there were 5 exhibits that you really wanted to get in, if you could send them as 5 different PDFs to Ms. Racanelli by email, and then Ms. Racanelli will load them up, and then Ms. Pena will be able to see them from that, and she will be able to lodge any objections she has off of that. And those are the 5 exhibits. But we're not going to do more than 5 because Ms. Racanelli is already basically engaged with you all for almost 2 days.
It is taken.
And so she really needs to move on with other things. But we will do this for 5 exhibits because I'm asking her for a favor. So if you have 5 different exhibits, all of which need to be less than 10 pages, So it can't be like a 500-page exhibit. It's got to be 10 pages or less, 5 different exhibits, and tell her what you want them to be. She will load those up for you.
And
But you've got to get them to her by email.
And then the first page of each exhibit, if you could put exhibit P-01, whatever it is. So, because I know you said you can't mark the first page, you're not able to do that. If you can just put a separate page in there.
I will mark them appropriately.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Now see everybody.